What is going on, guys? It's James here, ThnxCya, and welcome to Q&A. And as I speak, I'm currently not here because I'm away in Rome, which I did say that I would upload a Q&A whilst I was away. So I'm speaking to you in the past, from the future, and from the future in the past, and all that sci-fi goodness. But yeah. Anyway, we've got loads of questions to get through, so let's start off at the beginning with a question from SOG Sniper 9903, who asks, if you didn't do good in music, what would you do as a profession? Also loving thumbnails. Yeah, I do like making thumbnails. I think it's one of YouTube's little pleasures that I really do enjoy doing. But yeah, in terms of music and professions and stuff, well, I'd like to think that it would be something creative, because, wearing a suit to work every single day and doing a 9 to 5 just really does not appeal to me at all. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe it would be nice to do something in terms of video editing. Obviously I do video editing in terms of making these YouTube videos, but really taking it, the next step and learning how to do effects and that kind of stuff, and really getting involved with the kind of visual side to creative input, I suppose. And I think that would be something really cool, and it is kind of something that I would like to get more into in real life, actually, because I think with the knowledge of music as well as the knowledge of video, my content will just get better and better, which is obviously what I want to do on the channel. So yeah, something in terms of visuals would be pretty cool. Okay, next question is from Minecraft Spaceman, who asks, what do you think of the US government? Do you think they're doing a terrible job or a great job, and why? Thank you for your time. Well, I have to confess, in terms of world news, I'm fairly ignorant, and although I do read the news every single morning, the kind of apps that I use to read the news, I think mainly focus on the massive issues, and they kind of don't really cover a lot of the day-to-day issues which happen in your country. I do occasionally read the newspaper in the UK, but in terms of world news, I'm kind of reliant on the stuff that I read on the internet. So I don't really hear that much about the US government. However, I guess the one thing that I have heard is that Obama himself has made a lot of promises when he was wanting to be elected and campaigning, etc. But I think a lot of the stuff he hasn't really delivered on. Which is kind of strange, really, because I think that from coming from the UK, the Prime Minister here, David Cameron, is very similar in terms of pre-election. He was promising lots of these, radical policies that people agreed with. However, when he's come to power, he's either completely changed his mind or completely ignored it, and he's put a lot of things into place that a lot of people haven't really agreed with. But I do think that the one thing that is saving face, I suppose, for these two people, as in Obama and David Cameron, is that during the time when they were in office, they have taken down two of the world's most wanted men. Obviously, Osama bin Laden and Gaddafi. And, because of that, I think a lot of people, kind of liked them, I guess, more than they would have previously. However, I think it'd be wrong to base your opinion on those two people just by that one event alone. So yeah, thanks for the question. Next one is from EnoJoke82, who asks, what did you want to be when you were about 10 or 11 years old? This is a hard question for me because I've actually joked in another Q&A. I had a similar question, and I joked that I wanted to become a Pokemon trainer. But to be honest, when I was 11 and 12, and even to this day, I really don't know specifically what I want to do as a profession. I mean, obviously, I kind of narrowed it down over the years to something creative, but back then, I really had no idea at all. And I guess you kind of go through stages when you're young of thinking about what you want to do. I kind of went through a short stage of wanting to become a dentist, and then I realised that I really hate blood, and there's some kind of dental, obviously there's areas of dentistry that involves blood and that kind of stuff, so that got kind of put out of the window fairly quickly. And then I went through a really sporty stage where I think every kind of guy that's into football wants to be a footballer, but, that kind of stopped fairly quickly. And, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I definitely think that it took me a lot longer in terms of growing up to decide what kind of discipline I wanted to go into. And it wasn't really until I was around 15 or 16 when I decided that music was kind of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to study in the future. Okay. Next question is from CBI Proudy. I think it's an I, or it could be a 1. I think it's a Y. CBI Proudy, who asks, what TV did you watch when you were young? Wow, this is... I might be saying some shows that you guys might not have ever seen, which is kind of scary, but back in the day when I was a little kid, you had Postman Pat and Fireman Sam. Those were like really kind of kiddie shows, I suppose, when you're very, very young. And then you had, well, Nickelodeon used to be absolutely awesome. And you had shows like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. One of my favourites was Keenan and Kel. I loved Keenan and Kel, and I still remember all the words of the theme tune because I just watched it over and over. And then you had other shows like Sister Sister, which was not very good, to be honest. But yeah, Dexter's Lab, Recess, these kind of shows that some of you guys might not have seen, but yeah, that kind of stuff really. And then I got into Pokemon and I watched a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff, but yeah. Next question is from StylerBolt123. I think that's Stylerbolt. No, let me have a look. Styrebolt123, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. He asks, do you have any plans to do open lobbies with subs? Yeah, I do actually have plans to do that kind of stuff in the future. Am I assuming that an open lobby is where I have a private match and I just invite like 17 people and we just do some private match games? Because if so, I've actually done some of that already, which was really, really cool. I can't remember who I played with, but we basically played like a one in the chamber game using Model 1887s, and that was really, really fun. So that might be something that I'd like to do in the future. Again, because it was really, really fun last time. I think the 1887 is like my favourite gun in Modern Warfare 3, so it feels good to use it. But yeah, anyways. The next question is from Dr. What the Fuck 13, or Dr. WTF 13, who asks, will you ever do a vintage game series where you play PlayStation 1 games on your PlayStation, given that your RAM capacity lets you? Well, I actually have a backwards compatible PS3, which is awesome. So yeah, as you said, that would be a possible thing to do. I actually have two PlayStation 3s, the original Series 1 and the new one, because, you know, the original one's really, really small. But yeah, I have a massive collection of PS1 games, and I'm talking like really, really classic games. So, you know, if the demand is there and if enough people would like to see them, then I would love to go back and revisit these games. You know, things like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. Let me have a look off my shoulder here. Yeah, I've just got so many. It's crazy. There's some brilliant, brilliant games there. Medieval is a fantastic game. Yeah, so I would love to do something like that in the future, and do some kind of retro game series. It would be really, really cool. Okay, next question is from BrandyGuyXX, who asks, will you be going to any festivals in the summer? Well, you know, I'm someone who goes to a lot of gigs, and I have been to so many gigs in the past. I've seen, you know, most really, really good bands that I believe are good anyway, kind of from new and old. I mean, I've seen lots of old bands and stuff, as well as, you know, the more modern ones, but I myself am not really a massive festival goer. I kind of think that music itself loses a lot of the quality when it's played outside. I know that sounds really stupid because obviously, like with festivals, it's a completely different experience, but you know, I kind of picture standing in the mud for 4 hours not being that fun, and that's not really me being like arrogant or whatever, but it's kind of just not my thing really. So chances are I probably won't be going to any of the major festivals. However, there are a few like little outdoor festivals in and around my area that happen, you know, during the summer. So you know, if the weather's nice and if there are anyone around who wants to go to it, then yeah, I might do. That might be kind of cool. Okay, next question, and probably last one for the series, is from Shurfy. I think that's how you say it, Shurfy, who asks, how old are you, and do you have any brothers or sisters? Well, I'm 21, and no, I am actually an only child. And you know, it's kind of strange because I think it would be really, really weird thinking about my life if I'd have grown up with brothers and sisters, just because, you know, I kind of grown and adapted to being an only child, and truth be told, the life of an only child growing up is very, very strange, and I look back at some of the weird things that I did, and this is kind of just talking to yourself and making up these ridiculous games when you're on your own. And you know, I must admit that I had a fantastic childhood, and I really would not want it any other way, to be honest. And as much as you know, it's always good having family members to grow up with, I think that I'm just too used to being an only child, and therefore you know, kind of having a brother or sister would just be a massive culture shock to me. But yeah, anyway, this game actually cuts out short because unfortunately we had a host migration that ended the game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, as always, it has been a pleasure. I'll see you really soon. Thanks, and see ya.